Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below this video. Now, we're currently in the in-between stages between two debates, so I'm going to pass over to the panel so you can enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever is in there while I set up for the next live show.
I don't know if they can.
Okay, I've seen videos of where if you cite noble gases with electrical field, you can actually they're different colors. I mean, I can share the video I'm going on right now. Here, hang on a second.
Interesting. Like how strong was the magnetic field? Do you know?
I don't know specifics. I just think it's interesting. Go ahead.
I think it had to be really strong in order to do such a thing, but you know, I might be wrong.
Well, here, if you look at what I've got going,
it looks really strong, that the magnetic field. Holy shit! Yeah, it is strong.
There is electric potential as you go higher in the atmosphere. So there could be. I mean, may not be feeling it at ground level, but it could be stronger at higher levels. So
might be.
There's noble gases at the higher levels, and that could account for the blue that you see instead of or diffraction of the light.
Might be an explanation. And then you have to. I mean, it's interesting. Like, you know, when the sun is down, then it changes a little bit, and then you can see more red and yellow. So a sunset is created.
I missed part of the conversation. What are you guys saying the magnetic field does or causes or whatever?
A static charge or magnetic field or something like that could be accounting for the blue that we see. If you look at my image I've got on now, this is a magnetic. There's a noble gas inside this tube, and you can see the blue, and then even towards the edge you can see the orange and the red that you would see at sunset. See that?
Right. I see it.
I can't picture in my mind how it would work on Earth, but it's a good alternative explanation, I think.
Well, if the sun is local and close, and the magnetic field, which you can see during an eclipse, is very evident that there's a magnetic field at some point around the sun, then that could account for it. And that's why you don't see it during the night. It may not be, there's no magnetic forces that's being given off by the moon.
Also, the moon creates a magnetic force. Or
I don't know for sure. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like it does because, you know, if the sun is giving off a magnetic field and it's creating the blue sky that I see right now, but at night you don't see that because the moon may not have that magnetic field to give off that. I'm just saying I don't know. Obviously this is pure speculation, so I don't know for sure. But this seems to account for the blue sky, the sunsets. If there's a magnetic field given off by the sun, that's exciting the noble gases in the atmosphere.
Interesting. So the sun would circle around the disk, right? It wouldn't go under the disk, right? It would circle above the disk.
Well, that's the standard understanding of several flat earthers. I mean, we don't know for 100% sure. Okay. But that's the standard explanation.
All right. So, let's say it circles around the disk and it creates its own. It has its own magnetic field, right? So it ignites those the helium in the atmosphere, which makes the sky blue, right? And then when it goes farther away, you can see the sunset because the magnetic field is like further away and it makes like this red and yellowish color. So like kind of that way, right? You would imagine it.
Here's a high altitude balloon. I'll pull that back up. I'll reshare it. But this is the same video. You can see, like, this is the sunset, and you can see the red or the orange, yellow, whatever, and then you still see the blue as the sun is. I think this might be a sunrise. I'm not sure, but you can see that in the noble gap. You can see it right into here. If you can see my cursor, that's the yellow or orange or whatever, and then even there you see the blue.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to keep up to date with the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum there. Most importantly, if you would like to join this discussion right now, then simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are currently joined by, let's have a little look. We've got Zinda, Paul, Music, Jose, Flatten Earth, Chocolate Saying, and Arwin. Very good to have you all.
How's it, everyone?
Hello. Good afternoon.
Woohoo!
Good morning.
Good morning to you all. We did housekeeping on the last show, but my kid is very needy at the moment. She's sick, so you probably won't hear very much from me during this show. So my bad. You'll have to talk amongst yourselves. If there's a load of dead air, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Well, I got a little piece of footage I would like to share and tell you a little something I would like to do with it.
Yeah, go ahead, Jose.
Let me do my first screen share ever on this show and see if it's gonna work. Share, and you should be seeing the player, right? With nothing.
Yeah, got it.
There you go. Excellent. So my wife, we were looking at a nice little area. She said, "Look at the dolphins." I look at the dolphins. That's the first thing I want to present, because it was a beautiful piece of footage, I started recording it's a 3 minutes video. I'm going to let it roll because it's kind of really pretty to look at. There's a lighthouse a few miles away from where I was standing. I was standing just right in the shore of the water, maybe 6 feet above the water. And there is a lighthouse. Let me see exactly the distance. Is 2-3 miles. Really quick. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, shout out
In the
to
meanwhile,
Old West
enjoy the
Watson for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, this line measurement is. Let me see the properties. It's gonna show a lighthouse in a minute, which is 2.5 miles away. I'm just looking in the second screen to the map. Later, I lost. It's almost there. Scroll a little bit forward. Yeah, it was a full clear day. Nice little piece of footage. And then I put my attention to the lighthouse, 2.5 miles away. And I just let it roll for a second. So this I will call a control image, a control piece of footage. Will you agree with that? That would be a nice control piece of footage of a small lighthouse 2.5 miles away. Nothing should be missing, but 6 foot tall. is just a perfect example of a control image. Now, there's a possibility for me to go to a spot that is 8.5, a little over 8.5 miles away from this lighthouse, between 8.5 to 9 miles away. I can, in the same spot walking, I can set myself up to 8 miles to 9 miles. And I'm going to plan to go in the next couple of days and go to these 9 miles observations to this exact lighthouse. And I'm going to take a few observations from 6 foot high and the camera really close to the water, at least 2 foot high to avoid the waves and stuff. It wasn't too windy, just a tiny bit windy, as you can see the waves, but it was not waves. It was just flow in the water. This is not a big canal. It's kind of shallow water all the way, because I mean, people just even pretty much swim from this lighthouse to where I was standing a couple miles. You know, people do all kinds of activities. So it's a nice little piece of footage that I will put together when I get the 9 miles observation. And I should be missing a little bit. I haven't looked at the map and what the globe Earth proposes versus the flat Earth. So I'm really looking forward to see what I'm gonna catch to see what I'm gonna catch when I take the next piece of footage. I'll stop screenshotting now. Thank you very much.
Thank you for presenting that, Jose. Much obliged.
No problem. Yeah, in the meanwhile, I'm playing in the background with the Google Maps, because it's a tricky Google Earth, because it's a tricky one to create the little marks and lines and thumbnails. So it's a tricky one with it. Not a nice pad to move the mouse around, so I'm just struggling a little bit here. I'll listen in the background. If I gotta chime in, I'll jump in.
Don't forget to upvote the video, people.
Hey, Arwen.
I'm telling the audience, don't forget to upvote the video. So many debates you sometimes forget.
I chatted to
Oh, nice.
Go on, chocolate.
I was just gonna say it's a nice quiet day, apparently.
Yeah, there's gaps on the panel. If someone wants to jump on. I was chatting to Nick from Phuket Word, and he was saying that there is no debate. And I was saying, well, yeah, you're right. That's why we win so often. But ultimately speaking, people need to see that happen. In other words, the debate is only over when everyone understands that the debate is over, even though the debate has long been won. You know, the debate was over in 2015. But people obviously still think they live on a sphere. So to have the conversation and see people presenting arguments like you should see forever on a flat plane, that needs to be heard.
I'm in complete agreement with that. People ask me why do I join these debates and why is there a debate? You know, the flat earthers were convinced there is none, which I'm pretty sure of too. But like you said, there's always people, as long as there are people who will assert that we live on a spinning ball, there will always be a debate.
Yeah, it's hard to know what people's what side bread's buttered when you read it in the chat. So people will say there is no debate in the chat. You're thinking, well, I don't actually know which side of the fence you sit. Yeah, I agree. There is no debate. The Earth's obviously observably flat, but does that mean that you don't necessarily have any feelings in that direction? Therefore, the debate's over because you think it's a sphere. Hey, Sleeping Warrior.
Yo.
Hey.
Is it all sorted with you and Dal now?
Pardon?
And then at the same time, on the other side, there are people who assert, "Oh, there is no debate. It's obviously a globe." So you've got that too. You know.
Yeah.
Did you say is it all sorted with me and Dell?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you mean has he realised that he's made a mistake and he reacted to a video that wasn't actually aimed at him, then no, he hasn't admitted it. He made a mistake yet. I'm hoping he admits he's made a mistake. I have removed the hangout that I had that was reacting because it adds drama and I don't mean it to. I wanted people to see my position and then remove it because I'm not really interested in the drama side of it. However, he hasn't been in touch yet to say, shit, I might have got that one wrong. However, I have still left up my little 90-second ditty, which is like a little bit of light-hearted poking the fun. That's still there for the moment. I'm hoping that he gets in touch and he kind of admits that he was reacting to a video for which wasn't actually aimed at him. But I don't know if he can take a joke or not. So perhaps he'll realise that he made a mistake. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll respond with nasty rebuke and stuff. Maybe he won't. The ball's really in his court. I have removed the original hangout. The little 90-second video is still up, but nonetheless, I'm kind of just curious to see what he does. If anything, he might completely ignore it, but I'll be removing it in the next couple of hours or so. So if you want to check out the 90-second joke, go and have a look on my channel. It's really interesting. I love it. I think it's great.
Why don't we play it on this show?
Play it up, play it on now, stick it on.
No, I've just changed my mind immediately because if you're saying you're going to take it down and it's part of the show, then it isn't taken down, is it? So let's not.
Well, I'm planning on taking it down. It's there for everybody to download if they want a copy of it. But the way I see it is adding drama, and I don't really want to do that. I just like Del to acknowledge that he might have overreacted with a. Well, I don't know. It's up to him. It's the ball's in his court. We'll just have to see if he does anything at all and what he does, and we'll have to just consider it in the next few hours because I'm pretty sure he knows it exists, but he hasn't responded or acknowledged it. So, come on, Del. Let's see how you respond, or are you just going to ignore it?
Said the word pussy about 20 times in that video, Anthony.
Yeah, he picks on girls.
And you think he's gonna apologize or something? You know that's not gonna happen.
Oh, to be honest with you, like I said, the hangout that me, Nathan, and Ranty had was referring to a particular person, a particular channel that behaves in a very specific, particular way that satisfies the definition for divide and rule. And basically,
there you go, Truth.
Who?
Hello.
Yeah, hello, sorry. Hi.
Hey.
Good to have you.
So he was, it was addressing one specific channel, which I'm not going to name, but we can all be able to tell who it is by the traits that the divide and rule, like thing methodology demands. It tells you what these people do. This one particular channel is what I was aiming it at, and it doesn't take a genius to work it out. You just look at the negative vibe merchants that are doing just nothing but hate videos. Now, I didn't see that as like directly applicable to Dell, but he obviously did see it as directly applicable to Dell. So when he applied it against himself, he kind of like volunteered himself as one of these channels that's promoting hate. Now, it was never meant that way, but he interpreted it that way. And I was like, oh, that was an unexpected response. So obviously when he's then responded by attacking me based on a video that wasn't actually aimed at him, I was like, that's quite interesting because it wasn't aimed at you. Why would you think it was? And he basically, I don't know exactly his reasons, but it seems that he put, what's his name? The guy from Hawaii.
Joey
what's his bloody
Rocha.
name?
Joey Rocha.
Yeah, Joey. He got Joey Rocha's question, which was, can I ask who you're talking about? Are you talking about Dell? That was said right at the end of the conversation, but he put that right at the beginning as his reason to like self-incriminate himself. I thought that was really interesting. But then when I started to go through it, it did seem that there's some of the traits that happen are definitely coming from Dell's channel, although not all of them perhaps. And it wasn't even aimed at him. But the fact that he kind of self-volunteered himself kind of makes me think, But it wasn't aimed at him. But if he incriminated himself, that's his own bag. But he didn't need to do anything. It wasn't aimed at him, but he kind of self-incriminated himself. don't know. We'll just have to see how he deals with it.
So what you're saying is, when Joey suggested that it might be Dell that you were talking about, and you were like, I'm not going to name anybody, he's taken that to mean, yes, absolutely, it's Dell we're talking about.
Well, in the context of Arwin asking, was it Tim Osman? And then he asked, was it Eric Dubay? And I'm sure there were other names that were asked in that hangout, but there was at least three I can remember off the top of my head. And people were just asking questions. And I didn't say yes or no to any of them. I just said, you can identify these people with the factors that are in this issue. And these are the factors. So if you think it might be Patricia Steer, for example, then you apply the factors. And obviously, Patricia doesn't get involved in any drama. So clearly, it's not Patricia Steer. But if you think, for example, Timothy Osman might do, then you could say, well, actually, yeah, Tim kind of does check them boxes. If you think perhaps Eric Dubay might do, then you could say, well, yeah, maybe Eric Dubay does tick them boxes. But Dell's then applied that, or somebody's applied it against Dell and told him, and then Dell's jumped on it and said, yes, you're talking about me. No, I wasn't. I didn't name any names. I just said that there are specific channels, there's like a trio of them, and they basically do nothing but hate videos. Now, if that's what you think Dell does, then you could point the finger at Dell. Well, I would argue it wasn't aimed at Dell, because Dell doesn't necessarily do hate videos. He does do hate videos periodically, but the channels I'm referring to are the ones that only do hate videos. But Dell's kind of included himself in that unexpectedly. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting perception there, Dell. So I pointed it out. It's like, wasn't aimed at you. These are the factors that I was aiming at, but you've kind of self-included yourself into them factors. And it's like, actually, yeah, some of them do seem to apply to you there, Dell. Maybe not all of them, but definitely some of them do. But I don't know, is he admitting that he is a troll, a plant? Or is he kind of, I don't know, what difficult to interpret is how he included himself. But it's interesting because he did include himself. So perhaps he's listened to a third party that's told him that's what Riley said. That's what the fat bastard pie eater said. And maybe he's just accepted it on face value. But really, if you apply what them rules say against Dell, some of them apply, but certainly not all of them. And you do need all three. But there definitely are channels that do have all three. So I don't know. It's just interesting that he interpreted himself. He included himself. It'd be interesting to know who it was that sent him the message. Did he stir the pot, or did Dell come to the conclusion all by himself? But if he did, then it's just interesting that he incriminated himself.
I kind of find funny is that you on your Hangouts have him listed as one of the people to go watch and subscribe to, and
yeah, I
promoted him. So like, it's weird to me that you would take that as, you're going at him, even if that other guy threw his name in the hat, but it was just another name in the hat. Nobody said it was him. So like,
exactly,
I think he just went a little.
Reason. Yeah. And I can't say the names, because if I do say the names, right, it glorifies their bad behavior, and I'm not prepared to do it. But if I don't say their names and you infer from it based on the attributes, and then you come to the conclusion based on the attributes that he must be talking about me, then you're entitled to do that. But the point is, the attributes are what identifies the characters. So if you're going to self-identify yourself as a character, that's not my problem, is it? That's kind of your problem. Now, like I said, it wasn't aimed at him specifically. It was aimed at one particular channel where like 2 or 3 of them all congregate round, and all they do is hate videos. And it's itemized as particular behaviors. And if these 3 elements are all present, then it means that these particular channels are responsible for this thing called divide and rule. And we all know who I'm talking about. But if Dell thinks I'm talking about him and he reacts and he on the rebound, then that's okay. He can think that. But then you're right. When his name comes up on the shoutouts list alongside, I don't know, Patricia and Globebusters and Nathan Oakley 1980, and his name's on the list, doesn't that kind of tell you that he's clearly not meant to be on that list that he thinks he's on, because I actually shout him out? Perhaps. Maybe not. It's up to him to interpret, but it's just interesting that he included himself for some reason. And I don't know, it does seem to apply against him. If you go with some, or like all of them don't apply. Some of them do. But when he jumped up above the parapet, started spraying bullets my way, then I applied the rules against him. And then, yeah, you can argue that some of them apply against him. But it doesn't change the fact that the video was actually aimed at one particular channel that was spawning hate for one particular reason, to which these rules definitely do apply to. And if you're still unsure, you've just got to look around and see how many people are doing nasty videos for no good reason, adding nothing to the communication, the content of Flat Earth, the good side of Flat Earth, just negative, building brick walls between people, trying to divide people up, trying to break the shackles that bind everybody else together, the cohesion. that unity. They don't seem to like that bit, do they? They don't seem to like people working together. They don't seem to like team think. They like people being renegades, separated. And why is that? Because you can't do much when you're on your own. Even when there's just 2 or 3 of you, you still can't do much. You need a group behind you to be able to do stuff. And it's that thing that they need to have dissembled and dissuade people from being part of. And I'm happy to say I'm part of a group. I am not on my own. I'm not renegade. If you want to be renegade, that's entirely your own decision. But I'm not renegade. I like being part of a group because I realize that many hands make light work. We all do a little bit and we achieve a lot. And that's the antithesis for somebody that wants to be a ball earther troll that's employed by the states to try and segregate, divide, and pull down friendships and alliances and good things, because that's their only intent. You would never do that if it wasn't for the fact that you had a massive grudge against one particular person for some reason and you had to try and destroy them at all costs. And nobody's got that really. So what? We disagree about being part of a group. That's not enough reason to basically continue do hate videos all the time. So if someone's out there doing hate videos all the time and generally not contributing to the general good that's in Flat Earth, and of which there is a shed load of it, then that indicates to me strongly that they're controlled opposition and planted for that sole purpose. Yes, it's all right to be suspicious of people, and you're entitled to put videos up that you are suspicious of people, but to go around and character assassinate to try and cause divisions and try and cause drama, well, if that's your only MO, let's be honest, there's one channel that does do that, then what does that tell you about that one channel? And of course, it tells you that they're controlled opposition. So yeah, if you think that was Udell, then that's your perspective. But really, it was aimed at somewhere else, and we all know who it is, and I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to glorify it, but we know who I'm talking about. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, just have a look around for the hate videos. There's plenty of them. Just type in, I don't know, you just look for them. Just find the hate videos, and there's a common name going through them all. And if he's not directly involved, he's indirectly involved with liked accounts and liked people that like that video, and he's always one of them. So just that's what I was saying. How it's interpreted is not my control. He's only responsible for his own interpretations, and he did interpret it himself, I think, unless he was poisoned by somebody. But either way, he included himself on a video that wasn't actually aimed at him. So we can interpret that in like our way, and I would say that's quite interesting. That Del wasn't aimed at you, though, was it? So has it been sorted? No, he hasn't admitted he might have made a mistake yet. But I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough. I have a similar saying to the one you came up with. If everybody does a little, I don't have to do anything at all.
Yeah.
Got a few people in chat saying
Shout out
that
to
you're
shout out to Riley. I like. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Nathan. I like when he say like he Dell has been nasty to my friend Jose before he was a baller. I like that. Thank you.
I actually said Jose before he. I said it actually, but Jose before he was a. I said something else. I said something like a retard. I didn't say retard. It was something like that.
Yeah. It's all good.
And then I corrected it and said Amina baller.
Yeah, well, it was fun. Although I did feel almost like sometimes I literally got caught in the middle, since Dell was playing me in between you talking and ranty here and there, and then you were also referencing me while you showed that. So it's weirdly felt like I was being pulled in the middle. Like, wait, what do I have to do with this? Why am I hearing myself in this video all the time?
Well, because we don't always agree on all points.
I know.
And that's okay. It's okay not to agree with everybody on everything. It matters how you disagree with people. It doesn't matter what you agree on, because that makes it an echo chamber. It matters how you disagree. And that's why I was citing you, Arwin, because we don't always agree on everything. And I think we've now got to the point where we can disagree with each other, and it's not a big deal. We just disagree. But ultimately, yeah, you were mentioned because I support you, and I like the work that you do. I don't always like the work that you do, but I still support you. But same for Dell. I don't always like the work that he does, but I still support him because he is somebody in Flat Earth that generally does some good work. I like watching his street activism. He's good at that. I like that. Right. Don't like all the fighting that he causes. He does cause fighting, but there's bigger problems. There's more general. Like I said, there's more hate going around than what there should be.
Right. I know, but it's just funny that I got caught.
Poor woman has to be married to Riot.
Yeah, piss off, PMRs.
Poor woman has to be rare. Well, whatever the rest of that sentence was, PMars, you're definitely on that list of people that just cause trouble. So I'm happy to say that about you, PMars, because everybody knows it's true. You can't actually have a civil conversation without some kind of slur. So take your slurs and disappear.
Anyway, what I was referring to was also that Dell had basically involved me in his conspiracy thinking of how we Arwen's playing devil's advocate. Like he doesn't get what's going on. That's actually about attacking me. And it was just hilarious that he involved me in that as well. Because I literally didn't know who you were talking about. I was like, who is it? Who is it?
Well, the funny thing is, though, when Dell's getting confused, what are you talking about? You've got to particularize your claims. Well, the reason why he's confused is because it wasn't aimed at him. And the reason why he's confused is because the points that he's confused on are not aimed at him. So it's like, well, I wouldn't argue that Dell is, but when he presented himself in that aggressive way, I started applying them. And there's definitely some things that do tick boxes for Dell, whether it's all of them or not. I mean, you can make your own mind up. But it wasn't aimed at Dell, but he put his head above the parapet, and I was like, oh, that was an unexpected turnout for the Bucks. We all know who it was aimed at, and if you don't know who, just look around for the hate videos. It's all over him. So I'm just going to leave it there because, again, I'm not prepared to say his name because I don't want to glorify his channel. But if they're acting like a dick, behaving like a dick, making dick videos, then that's what that person is, and that's what this person's doing. So shout out to Dell anyway. Shout out retracted.
I was going to say nobody even retracted it, and they shouldn't retract it. You know, I will say it from a slightly different perspective because I don't actually watch Dell and I don't know how good his work is. But he's a fellow YouTuber. Shout out to Dell. You know, same principle applies.
Yeah,
you can't retract your own shout out.
Yeah. You can't shout someone out and then retract it. You can't shout it out hoping it's going to be retracted either. That's just unfair.
Well, at the end of the day, it's like you can only do what you do, and I was doing what I was trying to do, and he popped his head up, and I wasn't expecting him to pop his head up, but he did, and then I dealt with it because he attacked me, and I was like, I wasn't even attacking you, you Burke. It is what it is.
1-1 says Anthony is referring to Eric DeBay.
No, I already guessed that. I was wrong. Although, yeah, he has been from the start kind of divisive, shilling everyone and casting
what we could
him out,
do,
but
kind
what
of
we could do,
divisive.
Nate.
Flat Earth and other shill potatoes.
What? Sorry?
Flat Earth and other shill potatoes. That's Eric DeBay. That was in like 2015, I think.
Right.
Part 1 and part 2.
He was one of the first divisive flat earthers, basically.
Right.
So that's why I guessed him. Because he hasn't mended his ways, okay? He still does exactly it does it the same way.
So Nathan, just present my screen. This is a really good segue into this point because it is valid. I think flat earthers have got the bad what's the word? The bad trait of failing to realize that there is dodgy evidence out there on both sides. Now, when it's dodgy against flat Earth, we don't tend to notice it because we tend to take things on face value because they're from our side, and we don't critique our own side enough. Now, what I'm saying is that there is one particular guy that's making videos, and it deals with this point, this divide and rule. So I'll read. It says the divide and rule strategies of 3 general broad strokes. So what we'll do is you can think of your favorite channel that creates the most drama, and you can apply these. And if that channel or person has these 3 general broad strokes against them, then they're basically divide and rule. But the problem with that is if they do, it says here that it is a purposeful warfare tactic used against the perceived enemy. In other words, people that unite in order to weaken and destroy them. So if we can get somebody in these 3 things, then it's a purposeful tactic designed to weaken and destroy us. So let's think of any channel, then you go.
Can I make a guess?
You can, but just bear with me a second. Shout out to Colin Turner for hitting the super chat. Really appreciate all your support, Colin. Thank you very much indeed. Go ahead, Arwen. You have a guess.
Yeah,
Turn
now
into
can I
guessing
make
who
a guess, or do you want to
guess the
leave it
shell.
open?
Leave it open. Leave it open. What I'm trying to get the audience to do is to think about who these traits can apply against. Now, if you're going to try and apply them against somebody, let's also apply them against Patricia, for example, and see whether or not Patricia fits into this. So does Patricia encourage divisions, conflicts, and chaos to the opposing groups to prevent the formation of strong alliances and unification that could challenge the power of the controller? Obviously, the answer is no. Patricia's a peacemaker, so Patricia wouldn't get this applied against her. So, but given that Dell popped his head up, do we see Dell encouraging divisions, conflicts, and chaos? I would say, actually, yeah, he does seem to do that. Was it talking about Dell in this instance on this one thing? No, it was talking about somebody else. But Dell does encourage divisions. He says, you don't need to join any alliances or groups. You can do this your own discernment. You don't need to be part of a group. Well, that is divisive. So I would say, well, in this instance, Dell, yeah, there's a tick in that for you, Dell, I'm afraid. You do encourage divisions. What you should be saying is you're free to join anything you want. You can have fellowship anywhere you want. And that fellowship can be with a couple of friends around having a watching Globebusters, or you can join alliances or whatever, rather than be suspicious of these characters. So he definitely does encourage division, conflict, and chaos. Now, is it to prevent the formation of a strong alliance? Maybe, maybe not. But you've got to make that discernment yourself. But you can then apply it to someone else. Is there other people, these other channels that we're thinking of, do they do this same kind of thing? And there's like 5 or 6 of them out there that definitely do. So it's like, okay, so let's move to the second one. Does Patricia promote and reward predatorial people that are willing to cooperate and participate with controller objectives to absolutely rule others, no matter how immoral, inhumane, or unethical? Well, we've just had PMARS join, and you know how immoral, inhumane, and unethical that guy is. So PMARS would he'd get a tick here, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
Patricia
but he's not much of a controller, though.
No, but he is immoral, inhumane, and unethical. All of them. Yeah. He's horrible.
Pretty much is ace.
He's just out of control.
Yeah, but this is more specific than that. Hold on. This is promoting and heavily rewarding those predatorial people.
Yeah. So PMARS does do that, but does he promote and heavily reward deals? I don't know, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't have said so. He just does it himself. So I wouldn't say he's promoting it. He's not encouraging others to make hit piece videos, which would be the example in our arena.
Sure. Okay. Your point taken. So maybe PMARS wouldn't be the guy that's promoting and heavily rewarding, but Patricia, definitely not. Does Dell? That's a decision that you'll have to make yourself. Does the person that I'm actually talking about? Riley does. He encourages it, because I noticed that when I started to defend somebody that was getting attacked recently, it very quickly became 1v3. I was having a one-on-one conversation with one of these idiots, and it became 1v3, and the 3 of them were attacking me then. So obviously you get outnumbered, then you can't respond to every single comment. But this is by having that bully mentality and having your mates support you, and you can't stand for your own stuff and answer your own questions when challenged. That is rewarding those predatorial people by having the alliances that, oh yeah, we'll support you. Don't worry, man, we've got your back. That is what's going on by if there's a ringleader. So maybe Dell does, maybe Dell doesn't. Patricia definitely doesn't. But the channel I'm referring to definitely does. That's why I did it. Third one, fostering distrust. So basically, if Patricia fosters distrust, hostility, and hatred to incite violence or war between any powerful people or groups that could pose a threat to the controller, then Patricia would be potentially in this. She doesn't do that, does she? Hardly anybody on our side does that, but there are a couple of channels that do. So when people says, like, and Dell does do this, if he does say distrust people, don't trust these characters, we've all heard him say it. So he's fostering distrust and hostility. I mean, look at Jose, look at Ranty, look at John, all the people that have been in and he's attacked. He does kind of, he is hostile to his peers, to incite violence or war between any. So is he doing it to to foster interest, hostility, and hatred, to incite violence or war? Inciting violence or war, maybe not. He says he's not responsible for the actions of his other people. That he's only responsible for his own. I don't agree with that. People are influenced by the things he says. We saw that with the amount of people that thought that Patricia might not be blah blah this or blah blah that. There were a lot of people that were able to be influenced by one channel. So he does have a responsibility to the people that he preaches his stuff to. Is he inciting violence or war? Maybe, maybe not. I would say probably not. To be honest, he tends to keep himself to himself, and I would say that this is probably the reason why Dell is not involved in this. But this is my point. I'm making these things that it absolutely is the case that there is 1 or 2 channels on our side that just do nasty things for no good reason, just to cause trouble, which was my point. So, Dell, if you think you're involved in that, then that's fine. Well, you've only done it by yourself. I wouldn't argue that you actually incite violence or war between any powerful people or whatever. Maybe you do. I haven't seen it. I don't actually know. But it's up to the people to work out whether or not these traits apply. And if the negative vibe merchants causing trouble, drama, then they're probably plants. They're probably orchestrated. And at the end of the day, you don't need to name anybody. You just got to look around and see which people are doing it. And if you see people doing that, that tells you enough that they're probably not nice people. But it's up to the person to decide. So I would argue Dell, not probably no. There are traits in there that definitely do apply, but not all of them. And certainly not enough for me to make a hate video against Dell, because he's a big enough guy. I could, if I really wanted to, I would have named Dell and said. But what I don't want to do is glorify these smaller channels that are gnats that fly around a cow's head in a field and they're continuously biting the cow all day, because that's all they are. But if I name them, then it becomes, hey, he's giving me a bit of exposure there on my channel. So it is better that people don't know who I'm talking about if you genuinely don't know who I'm talking about. Because if I told you, the first thing you'd do is you'd go over to his channel, you'd sub to his work, and then all of a sudden everything that I was referring to, you then see. But if you're like a negative vibe person yourself, it's gonna create the ranty syndrome, which was he was getting close to these people when he really shouldn't have been, because they are naughty people. And I don't want to encourage it. That's why I didn't say the names. But if I was on about Dell, I would say I'm on about Dell. You're an idiot. But that's why I didn't say any names. So sorry, Dell, it wasn't aimed at you. But these are the factors that influence divide and rule. And if people are doing this kind of stuff, they're the people we need to steer away from. No pun intended. So anyway, I'm done.
100% a video whenever it's chance.
Go, go, go.
No, but we want to hear feedback about what you say first.
I don't think we need any feedback. It's to your own discernment to work out whether or not there are basically negative vibe merchants in this community. And if there are, do you want to be part of it? And I would say, now that we're all aware that these are the factors that we can consider when we're dealing with these people on our side that are supposed to be on our side, working towards the common goal of exposing the globe to be a lie, then these are the people that we need to be aware of. Because if they're harboring distrust and disunited, if they're causing divisions, these are not this is controlled opposition. These are plants. These are people there deliberately to try and like slow the movement down. Well, guess what? You ain't going to be stopping it, because there's so much happening right now, and I am so excited to be part of what's happening within this gang that I'm in, this group, because we're attacking on all fronts. There's so much happening, I just can't tell you. So while you guys are all playing around with your gay little videos and you're all making hit pieces on people like me and other new people that have come to Flat Earth from other angles, that just because you didn't know where they came from does not make them suspicious. I've been dealing with things to do with university discussions and debates, and my friends that are also in my gang have also been discussing and debating in Oxford University about why the globe is a lie. So yesterday, whilst these videos were coming out of said people, I was negotiating and discussing and indirectly on this occasion debating with Oxford University panels of PhD level students about how the globe's a lie. That's why I didn't get on yesterday very easily, because there was a lot happening. But the reality is I'm doing proactive, constructive attacking of the globe. The videos that come out at some point, I'll probably get round to watching them, but I'm not interested in them really unless someone links me and tells me that they're there. But if you're going to spend all day making hate piece videos rather than attacking the globe, perhaps therein lies the problem.
Let me know when I'm screen sharing.
Yeah, you're on whenever you're ready, Jose.
Okay, so this is a brand new piece of footage that I took on my way to Florida from Texas when I stopped in Pontchartrain in Louisiana area. So it was a horrible, hazy, cloudy day, and I still took a little piece of footage and I'm presenting it here for the first time. I haven't even uploaded in my channel. I need a little bit of feedback on it. So I'm gonna hit play, let it roll. This is a little side shot, and I'm starting to zoom in. And it was horribly hazy, man. Come on. This is in the right-hand side is the first little hump, and then the bigger one in the middle of the screen right now is one of those clearance for the boats, I think it is. This is one of the big humps. This is 8 miles from the start of the bridge to this spot. So further away is another small hump that we can kind of make out. I'll try to play with the camera, with the aperture, with the lights and all that stuff, and this is the best footage I could take because it was so bad. It will get a little better. Sorry, got a little fuzzy. There you go. But yeah, that's the best piece of footage I could take. I keep panning a little bit to the left. I could see the buildings in the other side, like Lakeway Center and the other ones that we can kind of make the shape of them. But it's like so bad. It's nothing in this video. I mean, I still don't want to leave it hanging in my SD card, so I'll like it to be here at least, somewhere. I will still upload on my channel. Go ahead.
Jose, do you know that if you press, your little circle on the back of the camera, if you press right, that brings up manual focus and you can lock it. So if you set it to something in the distance and then once it's focused on it and then lock it in place, it's not continually it's not searching in and out.
Okay, I played with it and I could make it work one time, but thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna try to work.
Yeah,
with
it's
that
not.
next
It's
time.
just press right, and it's a little flower on one side and a mountain on the other side, and it's a sliding scale.
Yeah.
You slide it like 90% down towards the mountain side, and then you look. It'll never be hunting for focus like it is doing.
Good. Yeah, I know, but still, I mean, look at that. How cloudy, and all the cloud was like in that downtown area, by the end of the bridge. So I start panning a little bit to the left. I caught a nice little boat and stuff in the side, but I couldn't make anything, man. I couldn't see the downtown. I couldn't see the buildings clear. I couldn't see shit. So I mean, it is what it is because I wasn't gonna go back. I mean, it was the day I chose to do the trip. I didn't know how the weather was gonna be, so unfortunately, it wasn't the best. Look at that beautiful little boat in there, just chilling. And it was so calm, the water. So if the day was clear, it was going to be beautiful, excellent piece of footage because there was no wind pretty much.
Jose, are you gonna tell us that that's evidence of curve, or are you just asking us? Do we think that it looks curved?
No, neither here or there, because it was a really bad day. I mean, I'm gonna go back to the bridge over here. I couldn't see because where Soundly presents the alleged curve, is past this little big hump in the bridge, and that's where it goes all fuzzy and hazy and cloudy in this one. So from me, there's nothing in here. Again, look at that.
So might it be the case that Soundly's got to cherry pick the perfect weather conditions, or are you saying that you've just been unlucky and it's not cherry picked by Soundly?
Yeah, I've really been unlucky because the last time that I went, it was worse because it was raining, So I couldn't even stop in a few places because of the rain. This time it was just hazy and cloudy, and fortunately I couldn't make a solid piece of footage, to either prove or disprove, I just shoot and record it. I got another one from another point, so I'm gonna kill this one and I'm gonna click on the next video from a different point of view. Kind of the same thing. And it is, sorry, I haven't organized none of this, so I got them like all over the place. Come on. Let's see what this is right here. If I make it too much noise, please mute me.
Why are you doing that, Jose? Hey, Eben, how you doing?
Good. How are you? How are you guys?
Well, good to have you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. While we're waiting, one thing I wanted to say about the previous spiel about those who keep putting out negative videos, attack videos, and stuff like that is as long as like I'm pretty new here to the flat Earth, so I don't really know the entire history of the entire flat Earth, the social distrust or whatever, the fightings that were happening in the past. Um, and I don't really care to look into it. I think as long as we stay the course, I think it's good. I had a conversation with Slick James Johnson last night, and one of the things he mentioned is we don't really have to do anything big and drastic. We just keep doing our thing. And the thing is, little by little, we get more people awake into the entire situation with flat Earth, globe Earth, and the lies and all this other stuff. And the more crowd control that the powers that be keep doing, the more we realize, more people kind of wake up to it. Just kind of like the Truman Show. Once Truman started acting a certain way, he'd see the controllers reacting to him, and so he started to wake up more and more and seeing how things were just a little too weird. And
So, if let me ask you this: would you say that somebody that supports the notion that somebody's a post-operative transsexual, therefore blah blah blah, would you say that that's a something that should be discouraged, encouraged, or turn a blind eye to? In other words, does it have anything to do with the shape of the Earth? And if it doesn't, why is it there?
yeah, I mean, just point that out, and then
well,
move
that's
on,
been
keep
going on
going.
for years.
Yeah,
But it still comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's always going to be the case for everything where the conspiracy is getting too close to for for the truth that the government or controllers are comfortable with. So they're going to want to step in and press the attack. They'll probably have more people in on it. Usually the last thing that they do is just try to shut things down, like how YouTube is trying to shut down flat earth videos. That's probably the last thing they wanted to do, but they had to do it. But that kind of wakes up people. They realize what's so bad, what's so worrisome about flat earth. We didn't care about flat earth people for hundreds of years. Why do we care now? And I think the bigger the reaction, the better it is.
They don't want their satellite investment scams to break apart.
But I think the sad thing in life in general, though, I mean, I think thinking of a saying. It says, "To some we're the fragrance of life, to others we're the fragrance of death." I think that's something that goes across the board in just about anything in life. And I think just recognizing that right off the bat, and I think there's just people that go, they want to be in charge, they want to have the big channels, they want to do whatever, so they're obviously got to attack others to make themselves feel better. But I think no matter what you do, no matter you could do everything you can perfectly. There's going to be somebody that hates it, no matter what you do. So I don't know where the line is, whether you always address every little thing or everything that happens, or just let it go. I don't know where the line is with that. I think each individual has to make that determination. But I don't know. I hate drama in general, so I've been dealing with it. So.
Do you look at the video while you guys were talking, Nathan?
Yeah, I've had it presented while you've been playing it out. It goes to black periodically, but other than that, it's looking good, Jose.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, like right here, I hit pause, and that's the best shot I can have of the supposed curve. I mean, it's the closer I can get, and the weather was so bad, so there's not too much definition to do any conclusion, to draw any conclusion from this one, at least. I wasn't lucky enough this time, again. Thank you for presenting me. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, Jose.
Jose.
Jose, when you say you weren't lucky enough, what do you mean? That you weren't lucky enough to capture curvature, or you just lucky enough to not get a better observation? Or
I wasn't lucky enough to be there on the clearer weather day. It was a bad weather day. Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't lucky enough.
All right. I was just asking. I didn't hear you.
Might be a good day to try to catch it when the temperature is really low. That would probably reduce the atmospheric conditions. And it's really cool.
Today is the coldest day I've been in Florida. It's like 35 degrees over here right now, so it's really chilly. And I check on the website, but now the thing is the water is hot, really hot. So I'm gonna have a lot of mirage. But I still might go later with my wife, do a little trip and see what kind of footage I can take. See if I can go to that one spot 9 miles away on the lighthouse. Maybe it's gonna be no mirage. Who knows? So I'll see if I can make it happen.
So it was 35 in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, the wind chill factor like an hour ago was like in 35. Right now it's going higher, 40 to 45 actual degrees. Really. In this spot, I'm next to a pond, like a lot of trees and stuff, and it's freaking cold.
Yeah, I woke up. It was 27 degrees in Georgia, where I am. I was like, "What the hell?" But it's crazy.
It's 32 right here in Tennessee right now. So outside, it was really cold this morning when I went out.
Yeah, I'm
8
still trying to
degrees
get
over
used
here.
to this. Trying to get used to this weather.
Amazing how flat this bridge actually is when you get up a bit higher.
Every time we talk about how flat something is with elevation, I keep thinking of Neil deGrasse Tyson. But because of his situation with the sexual harassment, is he still like the spokesman for science, or is it just? Or I should say
Hang on.
scientism?
Let's be fair to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's say that until he's convicted, let's treat him no differently, because it's not fair that we use anything against him when he's not been convicted of anything.
Yeah, correct. I feel the same way. I'm just saying, because it's the representation is so big, just like movies, movie stars and stuff like that, actors, actresses. If one of them gets accused, they pretty much take them out, because they don't want the backlash of the public. And I was just wondering if the pseudo-scientific community out there still regard him as the spokesmodel for.
Yeah, they do, yeah. And until anything gets convicted in court, that's the way we'll be treating him, because I don't think it's fair that we slur him at this point. So let's still call him Neil deGrasse Tyson, and we'll still laugh at him for flat Earth stuff, because, like I say, we don't need to get involved in anything that's outside the flat Earth thing until anything changes properly. So
Nathan, present my screen while the guy's talk. Present my screen on the background.
Till then, that stuff is flat.
Yeah.
Well,
Come on,
but it's just black.
He gave us a peer review of the Earth. Come on, pretty cool, right?
I think I got to get one of those shirts just off the fact that he's the one saying it. I think I got to get one. It's like, again, 17 miles, and we're being told curvature, all this curvature at 17 miles. But your little priest, Mr. Tyson there, tells you can't see curvature at 128,000 feet. So somebody's wrong. Somebody needs to work their shit out.
Yep.
Brings me to our conversation.
I was going to say, before I derailed it with defending somebody that I can't stand, what was the question that you were going to ask from him about Neil? Oh, something to do with when you see Neil deGrasse Tyson, you always think that stuff is flat. Is that what
you see my alligator in the screen? My pet crocodile.
How old is he?
I don't think it's a crocodile. I think it's a gecko or something. But yeah, we do.
Alligator is nice. I'm looking forward to find the mom because I know she's back there.
It's interesting that you say that about him being an alligator, because we know that ballers struggle with scale and size. I can see how much you'd think that would be an alligator when you think that a little bit of obstruction at the horizon is curve.
It becomes an alligator when you zoom in on it real close.
Yeah, right.
I'll have to defend Jose. That is an alligator. That's not a gecko. That's an alligator.
Alligator, small one, but it's an alligator. Yeah.
Okay, so can somebody tell me the difference between an alligator and a crocodile?
Is it one of them freshwater?
Size and teeth structure.
Yeah, I don't know that much about them, but
Yeah, I'm not an alligator guy.
I think they're that's okay. Most in the States it's alligators. I think crocodiles are in like other like in Africa.
Australia.
Australia.
Crocodile.
Okay. I think I could be wrong.
Florida's weird like that. There's all types of lizards and shit running around. Crazy.
Alligators have
Literally on two legs.
alligators have
Are they
just
running lizard?
wider snouts. That's an easy way to tell.
And this is right here in my actual backyard. So there are turtles now sitting in the same little branch tree. Maybe later I'll zoom in. And there's a vulture in there too. I see with my eyes. Hard to see with the camera.
What's that? Your backyard?
Yeah, that's like in the backyard, little.
You got a little swamp back there?
Yeah, little swamp type. There's all kinds of creatures back here. Raccoons, big ass possums, snakes, alligators, all kinds of birds also.
That's unfortunate, man. We're not going to do a GoFundMe for you. It's tough luck.
Like,
Look at this guy.
for what?
It's a lizard walking on his back legs over water.
Oh, I've seen that one. That's cool.
Pretty weird, huh?
So if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream, then unfortunately this is the point that we bid farewell to the live audience. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. If you need something to keep you occupied, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. After this live show ends, there is also the pre-show and after show from the preceding show over on Nathan Oakley 1980, so that's starting right about now. Also, massive shout out to Awaken Truth for hitting the super chat. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? I look at Vegan Guys and I look at him and think, actually, I quite like that sports kind of setup. But in Flat Earth, it seems like it's like walking around with a hockey uniform on when you're at the football match. It seems a bit out of place.
Yeah, Vegan does pretty good too, and he switches it up. He doesn't keep it the same. He likes to vary it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my plan as well, to get the variations in the backgrounds changed around a little bit. I need to have I need to have more time to be able to do it, because it's time that's the issue. I'm not always available.
I'm glad the Jose came in today in the down low, because I heard Brenda getting ripped earlier. She talked a little bit about the Morgul Lighthouse, which I'm doing a little bit of research. I know this is back in the day, back in the Isle of Man days, and all the controversy behind. We see it, we don't see it.
No, we definitely see it. We definitely see it.
But I came across a video that some people have proposed that is really not Morgul Lighthouse in the images that Nathan is presenting on his little screen right here. So I'm still doing a little bit of footage. I don't want to jump to early conclusions, but I'm doing a little research and I'll come to it soon.
So basically, you're trying to debunk Morgul Lighthouse. That's what you're trying to do.
I'm trying to debunk the image that Nathan presents us. We see it, but we're not supposed to see it.
So
Debunk it as in the lighthouse is not in the picture, or that's not the lighthouse.
Or maybe that's really not the lighthouse that is being proposed. Yeah,
it's a shame that people haven't kept up, because Miles the Liar Davis went to a different location and also filmed the lighthouse, and it looks exactly the same with a telescope from a higher altitude.
And the best thing is I've managed to observe the actual lighthouse, from a much lower vantage point than I'd originally viewed it at, and I was never given credit for it by Slice Arcane when it was his request that I did it. So I went back and did it, and it was just a hand wave dismissal. I also went back to the beach, and I got some other land that I claimed. The original video that I claimed was like, what's this land? I went back to the beach, lay on my belly, and did it on the beach. And I can't really get much closer other than lying in the gloopy mud. And I hadn't thought at that time about like putting a sheet down or whatever. But my point was that basically the hand wave dismissed it. But it's like, it's clearly the case that the land I'm seeing and the lighthouse we're seeing from lower elevations is not possible on a sphere. If it is a sphere, it's certainly a different size, but it's not the size we're being told. So good luck on that one, Jose.
It's crazy. I know it's like a year after, all these, probably hundreds of hours talk about this, and I'm trying to come up with a little something. Either I find that it is or it's not, but I will bring it on soon.
Cool.
But I had to come in the down low because, as I say, Brenda was representing the asshole today. So thank you, Brenda. It was no need for me.
Do you happen to catch Brenda earlier, Anthony?
I was listening to bits of it. Yeah, I heard what she was arguing. She was saying that something about the affirming the consequence. There was denying the consequence, saying that you've been getting it the wrong way around.
She was getting all over the place. Sometimes I think like her brain or his brain, whatever, has like a literal meltdown. Because she like gets so confused, but just keeps on talking. So weird.
Yeah, her and Kosho will talk forever and ever, and just keep repeating the same nonsense again and again and again.
Yeah, Kosho is he's guilty of that.
Well, I've noticed a lot. If they would come in more as an attitude of just trying to listen and understand why we think what we think, it would be different. But they come in specifically to demolish, And I think that if they would change the dynamic if they would just come in to just listen and learn and find out why, just obfuscating points.
You got it exactly the opposite, bro. They come in to try to teach us. That's people like Brenda and Kosho. They think we're wrong and we're retarded and we don't know what the hell we're saying. So they come in to try to teach us and school us. That's what it is.
Well, no. I'm talking about teachable. Them being teachable to listen. That's what I mean. Not the other way around. I know what you're saying. They definitely come in to try to school us. So, but part of the journey is learning to listen and try to understand, not just get your point. Just obfuscate everything and get your point across. So, I've seen Nathan actually turn around and I don't want to blow smoke up your butt, Nathan, but. I have seen you at the moment when you hear a good point, you stop and you go, wait a minute, is there a good point there? Let's look at that. That means you're listening. You may be getting pissed off, but you're listening.
Right.
I'm actually thinking about downloading OBS onto my website, onto my laptop, or just go type in OBS and is there a specific version?
It depends. Do you have Windows or Apple?
I've got Windows.
Yeah, just download the Windows installer and it'll go ahead and install it.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
I just heard Sleeping Word talk about one that was the black background or something that was better. What are you talking about?
When what was the black background?
Oh, I was asking about OBS, and I heard you say something several days
Yeah.
ago about which one
Yeah,
to use.
Streamlabs OBS is better than the original grey background of OBS.
It's Screen Labs. Is that what you said?
Streamlabs OBS, yeah, it's an upgrade on the basis that it's OBS is like a standalone program that works as a self-contained program, but Streamlabs incorporates like web-based they call them widgets. And you just bolt on these widgets into your OBS, and it like interacts with like on like when someone subscribes to your channel, it comes up with a notifier to tell you that. And it's just more interactive and immersive for the audience, so that you can get shout outs and stuff, and you can donate cash to it or whatever, and just generally pay to have your message on screen for 30 seconds or whatever. And it's just more interactive, and that's really useful if you want to have a pretty looking OBS. Nathan prefers to have it like no frills. But if you want to look a bit more like Vegan Goy, then the way to do that is using Streamlabs OBS rather than just normal OBS.
Yeah, normal OBS can do that too. You just have to embed it within a source. Look, if you ever need help, just let me know. I could go.
Normal OBS can do it, but there's benefits that are on Streamlabs OBS. That is like the settings and stuff that you have, all these scenes and all your files and all that. They're all backed up on the cloud. So that means that you could, if you lost your PC, when you put your PC back together again and then reinstall Streamlabs OBS, then everything that you've got for your scenes is already on the PC, as though even though you lost it. It's got embedded and integrated and chat, so that you don't have to have your chat screen open and presenting part of it. It's literally there for you to have to watch all the time. And there's a few other bits and pieces that are just easier to work.
Yeah, yeah. I'm such a power user. I prefer local copies instead of cloud and all that other stuff. So.
Are you old school?
Yeah, I'm old school.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
I could show you in a bit, kind of like what I've done to. Let me see if I can. Okay, so I'll go and show you. Share my screen.
We're not live, are we?
No, I don't think so. So here's my OBS.
Here. So I think this is probably the after show, right?
Yeah. So if you look at my screen, you can see I mimicked it to be almost exactly like CNN. So I've got the time and date that goes from Pacific time, Standard Time to Eastern Time, and then just the bottom thing that just kind of has a little like a flash blur, and that's all some HTML and a little bit of other coding.
And you do all that through OBS?
Yeah, through OBS. And then if I switch a headline, like if I want to be formal, I could just change it and does exactly like CNN. Like you can mimic anything. You can make it look super professional, or you could just, my usual thing is just just zoom and with this and look like the chat over here when it's live, and just the videos. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is. So shows you. Yeah, go back to it. Shows your main scene.
Sorry.
I like watching other people's work because I know it takes a lot of time and effort to get them set up properly.
Well, it's not set up because it's based on Zoom. Like this main screen over here, this half, it's like 3/4 will be just the Zoom, so people could see my face and other people who are in the chat and like talking live. And then over here on this side will be my restream. So what restream.io does is you could live stream. So I live stream on like 5 different live stream channels. So one on YouTube, one on Periscope, one on D Live and one on Steemit, which is through Vim, and stream.me. Although stream.me is down. And the thing is, you could tie in all of those with restream.io. And so if anyone types in any of those live streams, you'll see it in that restream.io box. So that's kind of nice. And the good thing about the restream.io box is you can actually have local copies of everyone who chatted and everyone who entered into the whoever entered to watch your live stream, it'll have their tags. It'll have their names.
Have you tried using Streamlabs version of this?
No, I have a friend who does, and he told me about it, and he showed me, and it looked pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, it is better. And if you were to do it and like put that Streamlabs on, it would transfer all your settings over. There might be the odd one or two that you have to manually configure, but it just adds more interactivity with the audience on it. If you did use it, I would encourage using it because it is the way forward.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try it someday. I used widgets before, and it was okay. The thing is, what's hard about using something like Streamlabs is like a lot of widgets, they're just based on a specific platform. So it's like I have to focus on one widget rather than like 5 different widgets from 5 different live stream sites. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
one for YouTube, one for DLive, one for Vim if they ever get widgets working. So it just I figured I won't worry about that now. I figured by the time things pick up, or if they ever do, they'll probably kick me from YouTube. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. But yeah, I'm hoping more people just kind of get a little bit more tech savvy because it's pretty much the new battleground, right? Not a lot of us, not many people could do what we're doing and have people watch and listen and think about it. Back in the 80s and 90s, they'd have to make VHS tapes or go to the public access areas and make their recordings, and people would just have to watch the public access television. But now we can record easily, or just go live and share our thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. Tech's the way forward to influence the younger audience.
Yeah. I'm hoping one day that because the younger audience are still really heavily involved in games, but one things that they do like are I'm not sure if you watched it, maybe is it 2 decades ago? Remember Halo when it first came out, and then there was a show called Red versus Blue?
Yes.
Yeah. So something similar to that, like video game content, but where people just kind of move around, but they do voiceovers. So it's like making your own cartoon, but it's all it is video game snippets and voiceovers. So that can be pretty useful to probably get the younger audience involved.
Do you remember that Red v Blue where they were talking about internet versus real life? And there's somebody in the background shouting, "Does anybody like Angelina Jolie?" And they're all fighting, like throwing missiles at each other and stuff, calling each other trolls and stuff. Oh, that particular clip's one of the funniest clips I've ever seen on the internet.
Yeah.
Do you know the one I'm on about?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's man. There's yeah, I don't know. Those were the days. I don't know. Like normally you wouldn't even think about watching something like that, but it just draws you in for some reason, and people get creative with it. I like it.
Yeah, they need to remaster those in like modern HD because some of those videos that Red v Blue released were fucking well good.
Yeah. It's that subtle humor that gets overlooked these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more humor, less drama, less nonsense. You're not getting us anywhere.
We can't control the nonsense, though. There are people out there that are deliberately trying to cause division. Deliberately, that's their intention. How can you stop that? And the answer, of course, is you can't really stop it.
And honestly, you should take
which really bugs me out because at the end of the day, even if you don't want quote unquote, even if you don't want unity, right, or you like division, I mean, there's only so much you can do because we're already unified in one aspect that we do not believe we are living on a spinning water ball. And that right there, I think, is the basis of the whole thing. So whether this faction wants to believe there's a dome, this other one wants to believe it's an infinite plane or whatever, like, that's all cool. But at the end of the day, none of us that are flat earthers believe we are on a spinning ball. And that's the point right there that should unify all of us. But,
Yeah, and it's hard to make it comedic because that we're living on a flat Earth while all the control mechanisms tell us we live on a globe. I mean, it's the least funniest thing in the world.
Exactly. It's this giant lie that we're dealing with, and it's like we're just made to accept it. No, can't accept that anymore.
Yeah.
If I want cartoons, I could go watch my Dragon Ball. Not going to convince me the world I live in is this giant cartoon ball. It's ridiculous.
You can make a new series called Dragon Flat Z.
Oh, man. See, but the Dragon Balls are actually balls. That's fine. It's the Earth that's not the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I wish I could. I wish I had money to afford a new phone. Like some of the new phones have the capabilities of filming like very fast frames per second. So when you're filming something, it looks slow motion. But you can always speed it up. But the thing is, I want to show like a wet tennis ball when it's thrown and it's spinning, and how the water just kind of leaves the surface area of the tennis ball. And so, giving an example this is basically the spinning globe model without gravity. And then you can show
done. Those videos exist.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh,
just look it up. Yeah, cool.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of those videos. That's a thing now that people like to take stuff like that and slow it down, and there's like a whole show on it. I think I forget what it's called, but there's a whole show about slowing, things down and watching it.
But nothing wrong with doing it again. I'm bringing it, it fresh
sure,
for new people to see.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I didn't even think about using someone else's content for that. That's a good idea.
That's funny. Yeah, I figure if you already got into flat Earth, you would have seen that video at some point or another, or even before that.
There's just so much flat Earth content when I was looking into it. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like hundreds of hours at least. Because even Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues was probably like 28 to 30 hours.
For how long have you been looking into flat Earth?
I started seriously looking around 3 months ago, and then by the time.
Uh-oh.
Did Mike Martin, the guy?
Oh shit, we're losing people.
Are we getting sniped? Are we?
Oh shit.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
Hey ho. Looks like that'll be my opportunity to round out the after show. So with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience, not live audience, the premiering audience in Nathan Oakley for tuning in, super chatting, and hopefully sharing this show. And also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this after show possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!